You know, I've let this channel sit here for a long time, not doing anything. Really didn't know what I was going to do with it. I planned on making metal detecting and treasure hunting videos, maybe some equipment reviews and some survival stuff. And that's still in the works. I plan on doing that. But this is something different. It's time for me to speak up, and at some point, you can no longer stay silent on too many things happening at once. Right now, we're in serious trouble as a country. A lot of stuff has transpired, and you just can't make it go away. And some of it is just too unbelievable to actually even ignore. We have, first off, the pandemic, or the whatever you want to call it. Now they're starting to think that maybe it was lab released. I don't think it was China's fault. Okay, a lot of people want to blame China. I think there's more nefarious things going on in the background, and China was just the fall guy. They were the patsy. Yeah, they were working on that virus. So was a lot of other labs in the United States and other countries, including Ukraine. So that could have come from anywhere. I mean, look, all of a sudden we have monkeypox. We had a truck full of monkeys that escaped. All but one were destroyed or caught, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if they ever even caught that other monkey. We have the monkeypox, which just so coincided also with them finding smallpox and another virus, empty vials in a cardboard box in another lab. This stuff is supposed to be class 4 or level 4 lab related lockdown. So what's it doing out? We have food shortages. I mean, just go to the store and you'll see empty shelves. Prices are higher than ever. You have food plants burning down and exploding, planes crashing into them. Over 100 now. We've got supply chain issues where stuff is just sitting there rotting away. The truckers can't afford to deliver anything because of the diesel, so it's not worth their while. Um, then we have the shooters and all these mass shootings that all of a sudden just happened the minute Joe took office. It's funny. I mean, this is just a coincidence, maybe, but we had all those shootings when Obama was pushing gun control, and then Trump got in. And I'm not saying Trump's a saint because Trump was clearly just the lesser of two evils when it comes to who to vote for. Nobody in their right mind wanted Hillary. So you had all that stop, and then lo and behold, Joe gets back in office, and we have all these massive shootings again. And this thing on July 4th, this kid looks like he's MK Ultra. Now I don't know if a lot of you know about MK Ultra, but it was a CIA combination of drugs and hypnosis, mind control, where they were developing sleeper cells. You know, people who they could awaken when they needed, and seeing how they could control them. So now I got to wonder what the trigger is. Is the trigger the rap? Because you have a lot of minority, and I'm not saying this to be derogatory, but you have a lot of shootings. I don't know if just because they're trying to act out their anger and resentment for being in a lower class, being stuck and treated wrong, or you have, you know, the rap, something in the rap as a trigger. Or it could be video games, because all these kids played video games. But there's a trigger, I think, and I don't know if we'll ever get to the bottom of it because we can't go back and see exactly what these kids have done to get there. And the whole West Coast is on fire and in a drought. Hopefully, we won't have the fires that we did last year. We were on evacuation warning ourselves half the summer thanks to the Dixie Fire. Um, PG&E has been allowed to get off scot-free with pretty much everything. And then we have inflation. It's through the roof. It's not getting any better. It's going to keep going up. And look at the fuel prices. Thanks to Uncle Joe's energy policy, shutting down the pipeline and closing all the leases, the supply has dried up. We're hitting our national reserves, the emergency supply stockpile for strategic planning, and now we're starting to give it away to China. China's our enemy. We just haven't recognized that yet as a country, and we're not going to when you get people like Mitch McConnell, whose wife is a big Chinese shipping magnate. We need to open our eyes and take a good hard look at what's going on. People are starting to wake up all around the world, and it's time America does too. And Sri Lanka is a um, extreme example of what's going on. They're starting to hunt down their politicians and shoot them in the street. I'm not advocating that at all, okay? But I am advocating term limits, and it's time to clean house. The Republicans and the Democrats they're both the same side of the coin as far as I'm concerned, are running this country into the ground. You got people like Nancy Pelosi, no moral values at all, and just out for herself. And insider stock trading, but it's okay because rules for thee and not for me. So this all comes down to, in my opinion, this is a well-planned collapse, a very well-planned collapse. And we're approaching the point of no return. The Georgia Guidestones spelled out their goals for everyone to see, and it sat there for years and years and years. Just like the WEF, World Economic Forum head Nazi, old Klaus, has bragged about infiltrating cabinets and governments with his people. Canada seeing the price to pay for electing one of them because Trudeau was one of his young leaders. But I think we're at the breaking point. Things are starting to change, or they may start to change. Last night, somebody blew up the Georgia Guidestones. I think that was the shot that was heard around the world. Do I think it's patriotic for them to do that? Well, I'm not going to say. That's up for you to decide. What I do know is, because of all this going on, I have to warn all my followers and anyone who sees this, you need to go out and stock up on gas. You need to go stock up on food and water, because they're going to try to starve us out. It's going to be a very cold and dark winter. And the elites are going to be sitting in their houses, their mansions, and their bunkers, living the high life while we're all struggling. And I think you're going to see more crime because there's going to be a lot of people who didn't stock up. And they're going to look at you as the haves versus the have-nots. Even if you're on poverty level and you just barely got anything yourself, you're going to be better off than they are, and they're going to want what you have. So you're going to need some long-distance paper punching equipment as well. Anyway, those are just my thoughts for today. I'm going to try to put the other videos out, some equipment and some metal detecting adventures and treasure hunting adventures, and maybe some clues as to some treasures that you guys can go out and find. But in the meantime, stock up. You don't have a lot of time. I'm thinking maybe 6 months, the most. Don't wait till the last minute. In the meantime, don't be the grasshopper in the old Aesop's fable. Be the ant. The grasshopper played and played his fiddle and danced all summer long. And the ants paid no attention to him, and they put away their food for the winter. And when winter came, the ants stayed in their nest and had plenty of food to eat, where the grasshopper, he froze to death and starved. You need to put things away now. Start buying things extra. If you go to the store, buy a few cans extra. It's not going to kill your budget, but it may make things a lot more comfortable when things happen. If we go to rationing for war, which it looks like they're trying to get us into, or just the way that they're starving us out with this supply line and food shortage, you'll survive. The grasshoppers of the world won't survive, or they'll be at your door knocking and expecting you to share because they're entitled, even though they did not one thing to lift a finger and save for themselves. Either way, if you have food and you have water and you have shelter and you have paper punching equipment, you'll be doing a lot better than the average person. And you have much higher risk of making it through this comfortably. And while you're at it, if you're on meds, get extra meds. Try to get 6 months worth. Talk to your doctor. They'll write you a prescription for 6 months, a lot of them. Explain to them why. Say you're just afraid of the supply chain. All you have to do is read the FDA reports, which explains that they're short on drugs every single day. So stay diligent. Don't fiddle all summer. Put things away and stay safe. I'll talk to you in the next video.